Okay, let's get familiarized with the smart timer. There's a power switch over here. You hear a beep when the system's turned on. There's 3 buttons labeled 1, 2, 3 and color coded. So we always start with the 1. The 1 selects what type of measurement you're doing. Although we could do the acceleration measurement directly, we're going to do the speed instead. So press until you see speed here. If you went past that, you just have to keep going until you cycle back. So we'll stay on the test mode for now. So test mode. And for the test mode, then we just select this mode. Okay, so there are 2 gates, 1 and 2. And if I stick my hand under one of the gates, say the first gate, and there will be some responses here. This is currently drawing an arrow here. Let me see. Okay, now it's a bar, means there's a block. Back to arrow and the block. So this way I can test my photo gate to make sure that my photo gates are both working, and also the gate that I thought was 1, I'll check it to make sure it is actually the first gate. And if they're swapped, you can just pull out this connection and swap them back. You don't have to really physically move the gates. Alright, so let's go back to the speed, and then I want to select the mode under speed. 1 gate, that's not enough. This is 2 gates, or it's called collision. Okay, so now we have 2 gates, we can start. There was a short beep, and also there's the star here. It means the gates are ready. So I'll just pretend there was a glider passing by the gates. I'll just use my fingers to trigger the gliders. So let's take a quick look here. I have 1 gate here and then the other gate. So I'll just trigger them. You can see red LEDs flashing, maybe not. So I'll also try to trigger this. Okay, there was a faint beep. And back to the display, we see 2 numbers. There's a 1 colon 14.9, 18.9. So the first gate thought it had 2 passes underneath it, and one of them is 14.9, the next one is 18.9. And then if you press either one of these red or blue buttons, you can cycle to column 2 column. This is the second gate. The second gate thought it was triggered by some rather low speed, 2.1 and 3.0. All of these numbers are in centimeters per second. So this is how they report. They sense something passing underneath the gate at this speed, and then later sense another thing pass underneath the gate with that speed. And since our experiment does not have 2 gliders, just a single glider, right? A single glider passes through the first gate and then it passes through the second gate. And that means each gate only gets 1 number. And then the second number on each gate will actually be kept as zeros. So also, the gates will not stop collecting data until you force the timer to stop. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to push the glider, or we'll let the glider go, and have the glider pass through both gates, and I'll catch the glider at the end of its travel, and then I'll come back here and stop the photo gate smart timer. So first let's get it set up again. So let's pretend that we were reading data from a previous trial. So we'll just read 1, 2, and make sure we read both column, 1 column and 2 column, and then we can press start stop to clear it, and press it 1 more time to arm it again with a little beep and a star. Okay, so we're ready again. And I'll turn on the air, and then I will let go of the glider. So this will be a little noisy with the air. I'll keep my finger here on the glider so it doesn't move unless I let it go. Okay, so normally you wouldn't have to take the glider off the air track or turn off the air. You would actually have the air flow all the time to prevent any type of accidental, say, turning air off, and the glider coasts against the aluminum track, and that will shave off some of that metal. So if I just do that with my fingers, and you might be able to see there's actually aluminum dust. So, all right. And let's take a look at the smart timer again. The smart timer is still thinking it should collect more data because it didn't get 2 passes under each gate. So I'll have to tell it to stop. Just press the start stop once. Okay, so now we see a 28.9 from the first gate, and then a 0.0 also from the first gate. First gate only gets passed 1 time. And then the second gate, we have a 68.9 and a 0. That means the same thing. Second gate only gets passed 1 time, and the second time there's no passing. So I forced it to stop, and it just recorded a 0. Okay, so I'll write down just the first number of the first gate, the first number of the second gate, as the starting velocity v1 and the end velocity v2. And then I can clear arm again. I'll bring the glider back. I don't have to place it exactly at the same location where I released it last time. I just have to make sure it is far enough, slightly behind first gate, and then I'll make sure the string is in place, and the clips at this end of the string is not catching on the fixture or anything, so I can release again. So for each number of clips pulling the glider, this is 3 clips pulling the glider, with 2 clips riding with the glider. For each setup, number of clips, you need to do 5 trials so you can average the results. Thanks.